up, YouTube? It's Yabba.
And Kari. What's good, y'all? We back with another video. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back if you're returning. Hey, if you're new, make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those post notifications because we're dropping content on you all this week. Hey, everybody.
Sorry.
Hey.
I was over here dancing to I'm About
She's
to
excited because we're back from our hiatus.
Y'all, no lie though. We about to react to George. That's why I'm excited. I love George. I like Patrick. Love Bill Burr.
Patrice, baby.
Oh, Patrice. Anyway, y'all, don't mind me. just act like I said the right name because y'all know this mouth just do what it wants to do.
She be giving everybody nicknames, so don't come correct her in the comments because we know
Patrice O'Neal. I like Patrice. So anyway, we did a shorter version to this video, and someone gave us the full title of it and told us to check it out. A few someones. Y'all, we sorry. We didn't know it was a big video. We just saw the short clip. We should have looked it up, but we didn't.
But the thing is, we kept looking and was like,
yeah, we kept looking for it, but it didn't really say anything. So I'm very, very thankful that y'all showed us this. If you like this, if you love George, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what other videos you want us to react to by him. Let us know what your thoughts, your opinions. Like these videos, especially the ones with George, they tend to get a little bit more like just about thoughts, opinions, like, and I love that. And I love the fact that y'all comment back and just tell me, guys, tell me how you feel. Even if you don't agree with us, we don't care. Like, right anyway, it doesn't matter to us. Like we're open to all opinions and suggestions.
If you don't like our intros, fast forward and get into the video.
Yeah. We can try to add like a little timestamp if anything. I'm not sure how to do it, but I'll try to do it for the people who really want to get to the video. But just letting y'all know that we do love y'all, and anything that y'all want us to look at and stuff, we'll go ahead and check it out. But we'll start the video.
Well, let's get back to this abortion shit. Now, is a fetus a human being? This seems to be the central question. Well, if a fetus is a human being, how come the census doesn't count them? If a fetus is a human being, how come when there's a miscarriage, they don't have a funeral? If a fetus is a human being, how come people say we have 2 children and 1 on the way instead of saying we have 3 children? People say life begins at conception. I say life began about 1 billion years ago, and it's a continuous process. Continuous, just keeps rolling along. Rolling along. I say,
You get right
listen,
to it.
you can go back further than that. What about the carbon atoms? Huh?
Oh, shit.
Human life could not exist without carbon.
Oh my
So
God.
is it just possible that maybe we shouldn't be burning all this coal? Just looking for a little consistency here in these anti-abortion arguments. See, the really hardcore people will tell you life begins at fertilization. Fertilization when the sperm fertilizes the egg, which is usually a few moments after the man says, gee, honey, I was going to pull out, but the phone rang and it startled me. But even after the egg is fertilized, it's still 6 or 7 days before it reaches the uterus and pregnancy begins. And not every egg makes it that far. 80% of a woman's fertilized eggs are rinsed and flushed out of her body once a month during those delightful few days she has. They wind up on sanitary napkins, and yet they are fertilized eggs. So basically what these anti-abortion people are telling us is that any woman who's had more than 1 period is a serial killer. Consistency.
What?
Hey, if they really want to get serious, what about all the sperm that are wasted when the state executes a condemned man and one of these pro-life guys who's watching comes in his pants, huh? Here's a guy standing over there with his jockey shorts full of little Vinnies and Debbies, and nobody's saying a word to the guy. Not every ejaculation deserves a name. Now, speaking of consistency, Catholics, which I was until I reached the age of reason.
Wait. This is where we was. This is where we reacted to already. But y'all, okay, so that was our hold on, George. You giving me too much to go off of here. Whew. Now, let me just say this real fast because I want to get to this second part of the video. I love the second part of the video. So, when it comes to what he was saying, consistency, right? If we're going to be consistent, a woman can only have a child, depending on how much eggs get up there, you know what I'm saying? She can have triples and all that, but she can only have a child once in 9 months. Like, one baby every 9 months. She can't have a baby every 5 months or 6 months or 2 months. No. One every 9 months. If we're so worried about maybe having less babies or doing certain things a certain way, then, have a male birth control. And have males be more inclined to go on that birth control. Because without them impregnating more than one woman every so and so, maybe 9 months, we wouldn't be having a lot of discussions about, overpopulation and stuff, because a woman can only have a baby once every 9 months. And it don't be working a lot of times sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Because as he just said, the swimmers don't be swimming that far sometimes. Now, with abortion, I personally think if we're going to be consistent, we got to focus on what do we consider human? Like, what do you consider a human? Because do you consider when that baby first come out? Because a lot of these babies die maybe at stillbirth, or in a situation where you do push out that child, or you even before that, like, why should you have the words or the thoughts to say what a person should or shouldn't do? I feel like George is really good at being able to explain a certain thing, but I think another thing that we need to focus on is who gives anyone the right to say what a person can do with their bodies.
True.
Like, you're not that person. You don't have control over another person. You have control over yourself. And you will only ever have control over yourself. And when you start to overextend your reach, that's when people start fighting back, and that's when we start getting in these, well, you should do what I think, or you should do what I think. But really, it shouldn't really matter. It should be a consensus between what is right and what is wrong, and a middle ground, because we're not gonna always see eye to eye on every issue. All of us are going to think differently, but that's why we have a middle ground. And I think a lot of times what we're reaching to right now is no one's willing to come to the middle ground to talk. Everyone wants to have it be either their way or the highway. We can all agree that rape and certain things are wrong, and no one should be forced to carry a child from something that was painful to them, something that hurt them, something that they didn't even consent to. I just personally feel like if I didn't consent to that sexual relation, why am I being forced to carry that child? Like, have you guys seen the abortion law in Texas? Like, what? Like, what? Is that a joke? Like, there's just so much stuff happening right now about the thing of abortion and what's going on with it. And I just hope that we can just start having some more common sense. Stop telling me about how much babies are getting aborted. Stop telling me about all these different things that's happening. I can't change the world.
It's rocky territory, honestly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like me saying, so what about the millions of people dying in Afghanistan and Iraq? What about the millions of people dying in Ukraine? I can't change the world. I'm only one human. So don't give me a bullshit ass argument like, what about all these babies dying? You think I don't care? Like, I do care, but what am I supposed to do? I can't make a decision for another grown human being, and neither should you, dumbass. Well.
It's that age of reason now for me.
Catholics and other Christians are against abortions, and they're against homosexuals. Well, who has less abortions than homosexuals?
Oh my God.
Leave these fucking people alone, for Christ's sakes. Here is an entire class of people guaranteed never to have an abortion. And the Catholics and Christians are just tossing them aside. You'd think they'd make natural allies. Go look for consistency in religion. And speaking to my friends, the Catholics, when John Cardinal O'Connor of New York and some of these other cardinals and bishops have experienced their first pregnancies and their first labor pains, and they've raised a couple of children on minimum wage, then I'll be glad to hear what they have to say about abortion. I'm sure it'll be interesting. Enlightening, too. But in the meantime, what they ought to be doing is telling these priests who took a vow of chastity to keep their hands off the altar boys.
Stop touching them.
You know? When Jesus said, "Suffer the little children, come unto me," that's not what he was talking about.
No. Taking a daddy kink to a whole new level, really.
So you know what I tell these anti-abortion people? I say, hey, if you think a fetus is more important than a woman, try getting a fetus to wash the shit stains out of your underwear. For no pay and no pension. I tell them, think of an abortion as term limits. That's all it is. Biological term limits. But you know, the longer you listen to this abortion debate, the more you hear this phrase, sanctity of life. You've heard that, sanctity of life. You believe in it? Personally, I think it's a bunch of shit. Well, I mean, life is sacred? Who said so? God? Hey, if you read history, you realize that God is one of the leading causes of death.
That's true.
Has been for thousands of years.
That's true.
Hindus, Muslims, Jews, Christians, all taking turns killing each other because God told them it was a good idea. The sword of God, the blood of the Lamb, vengeance is mine. Millions of dead motherfuckers. Millions of dead motherfuckers, all because they gave the wrong answer to the God question.
Yeah.
You believe in God? No. Dead. You believe in God? Yes. You believe in my God? No. Dead. My God has a bigger dick than your God. Thousands of years, and all the best wars, too. The bloodiest, most brutal wars fought, all based on religious hatred, which is fine with me. Hey, anytime a bunch of holy people want to kill each other, I'm a happy guy. But don't be giving me all this shit about the sanctity of life. I mean, even if there were such a thing, I don't think it's something you can blame on God. Now, you know where the sanctity of life came from? We made it up. You know why? Because we're alive.
Yeah.
Self-interest. Living people have a strong interest in promoting the idea that somehow life is sacred. You don't see Abbott and Costello running around talking about this shit, do you? We're not hearing a whole lot from Mussolini on the subject. What's the latest from JFK?
Oh my
Not a
God!
goddamn thing.
No!
Because JFK, Mussolini, and Abbott and Costello are fucking dead. They're fucking dead.
Yeah.
And dead people give less than a shit about the sanctity of life. Only living people care about it, so the whole thing grows out of a completely biased point of view. It's a self-serving, man-made bullshit story. It's one of these things we tell ourselves so we'll feel noble. Life is sacred. Makes you feel noble. Well, let me ask you this. If everything that ever lived is dead, and everything alive is gonna die, where does the sacred part come in? I'm having trouble with that. Because, I mean, even with this stuff we preach about the sanctity of life, we don't practice it. We don't practice it. Look at what we kill. Mosquitoes and flies, because they're pests. Lions and tigers, because it's fun. Chickens and pigs, because we're hungry. Pheasants and quails, because it's fun. And we're hungry. And people, we kill people. Because they're pests. And it's fun. And you might have noticed something else. The sanctity of life doesn't seem to apply to cancer cells, does it? You rarely see a bumper sticker that says, "Save the tumors." Buy break for advanced melanoma. Viruses, mold, mildew, maggots, fungus, weeds, E. coli, bacteria, the crabs. Nothing sacred about those things. So at best, the sanctity of life is kind of a selective thing. We get to choose which forms of life we feel are sacred, and we get to kill the rest. Pretty neat deal, huh? You know how we got it? We made the whole fucking thing up. Made it up. The same way. Thank you.
Oh, no, George, don't stop us. No, George, no.
What really got me is like
watch Bill Burr start playing.
the continuity thing. Like I feel like we have to look at what defines the term human biologically, psychologically, physiologically, and philosophically. Because if all of those things don't agree and we can't come to an agreement, then none of this even matters anyway. So for us to say, oh, fetuses are this and fetuses are that. Okay, well, why aren't we counting our age from the time that we are in the womb germinating until we come into the world?
True.
I mean, there's so many ifs, ands, and theoretical hypotheticals that we can discuss here, but at the end of the day, it just is what it is, you know? And you believe what you believe. You can argue, but there are still people who believe that the earth is flat. And there's nothing you can do to change that. And people that believe that climate change and global warming don't exist and they're not
I needed to laugh. You said there's still people that believe the world is flat.
Honestly, but when it comes to abortion, if a woman does not feel safe and feel like she is supported and feels like she can provide a fulfilling life even if she is anxious about having a baby, if she's not going to be in ideal circumstances to bring a life into the world, she should have a choice whether or not she wants to do so.
I think so. Only because, where did y'all grow up? I want to ask y'all that because I got to see, it's a lot of things. Y'all don't understand. Like, I'm 22. I'm not that young. I'm not that old to where I don't remember myself as a child, and I'm not that young. Like, I'm not that young to where I'm dumb enough to not know the impact of what things do to kids. Like, because I can tell you about my own impact and what life has done to me.
True.
Who the fuck are y'all? Because if you really sit back and say, yeah, you should have this kid, but have no money to raise this kid, don't know what you're doing, don't have the support system, and you can tell me all day, all long that they shouldn't have opened their legs. Oh, fucking K. But are you going to stop busting your nuts? Though. Are you going to stop opening your legs? No. So stop telling people what they should and shouldn't do either. There's consequences to every action in this world. Every action.
But you see,
sex has a big one.
Yes.
Okay? And you can't blame people for having it. Because you did the same thing when you were at their age. You were just so lucky to where you didn't get the same consequences they did.
Hey, and if you are physically incapable of carrying a fetus, then your opinion is automatically invalid about that.
I think so too.
I'm sorry,
but I'm not saying that just because you can't have you're not biased. Like, I'm not saying that, but everyone has a right to an opinion. But you should understand, like, certain times your opinion shouldn't matter because in certain things, like, you don't see how it impacts people. Yeah. A lot of women are scared to have kids because of what it does to their bodies and how it may hurt them. And y'all are over here worried about if they should have the baby in the first place. How about what it's going to do to me?
Because logic and reason says that they should do so. Like,
what if that's not something I want to do? You know what I'm saying? What if it's just something I don't want to do?
And when has logic and reason ever even been a factor in something that is completely emotional?
I think having a baby is something... It's logical. It's something logical because you have to worry about finances. But that's mainly the main reason why it's logical. It's spiritual because you're going to have to go through some type of spiritual journey to push that motherfucker out. I've seen my mama deliver a baby. I'm telling y'all right now. Look, that shit look.
saying
it's painful. I've seen it. I don't know how people do it. Okay? And emotional. Like, because you change. Like, people... There's women in this world that have a kid and after feel so depressed to where they hate their child. Like, you guys, it's not just a surface level of, oh, have the baby. Okay, have the baby, then what?
Because there are chemicals in some women's bodies who make them have postpartum depression. They have no control over that.
Are you going to help them? Is there steps that can help them? Don't tell me about all these different things that can happen because I have seen firsthand how all these systems that's in place are bullshit. They're bullshit. The foster system, bullshit. I've had friends in it, and their lives were miserable, and there was nothing I could do as a child growing up to help them.
Yeah, and we could talk about the foster care system all day, but that's not a parent's fault. For trusting in a system that is broken and has been broken for a while.
You can't tell someone to have a child and bring a child in the world that's 50% of them, and then they're looking at a way to raise them, and they're like, how am I going to do this? Do I want to bring a child into an unhappy world, in an unhappy home, with unhappy parents? What is that going to do to my child? Because I can tell you what it's going to do to your child. You are going to be depressed. They are going to be depressed. They're going to go into bad things and do bad things and do bad to different people. I personally believe that a lot of the reasons why bad things happen in this world is because we make it so kids have to grow up in bad environments. They grow in worse environments as they go to school, as they go to different areas around them, as they interact with different people that also grew up in bad homes. And it starts to spread like a fucking disease.
As much as you want to say you're not a product of your environment, you are.
You're somewhat of a product. Everyone is somewhat of a product. The way you move, the way you walk, the way you do certain things, how you communicate with certain people, you're somewhat of a product. And your experience is
how you're receptive to change.
Maybe, we're not here for nurture versus, we're not here for that debate, but we can say it's both in a sense. Your genes matter a little bit because it determines how you're going, certain things about you. Maybe how you react to food, if you can walk up some fucking stairs, because some people, they can eat so little and still be fat, and then people call them fat and disgusting. Like, it's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But when we're talking about kids, like, I just feel like, what gives you the right?
We feel very strongly about this topic.
I can sit here and say that I personally would not have an abortion. I can't talk about rape. I can't talk about all these different things. I can't. But I can sit here as myself, as Yabba, and say I would not have one. If I willingly were to have sex, which it wouldn't happen with a guy. But if I'm just saying, if I wanted to have a kid, I would have one. But I can't speak for the whole female population. Like, you guys have to understand that. I can't speak for that. And I don't know how my body's going to react to kids. But I will say that in my soul, I know I want one. I know I'm willing to have one. But I also know that I'm not ready to have one. So I can see myself, let's say I was in a situation where I would be having a kid. I would be scared right now. If I was having a kid right now, I would be flipping I don't think I would be, I would probably, it would not be a good mental situation. I'm telling y'all right now. And you have to be strong for that kid. You have to do a lot for a kid, and you're with a kid for 18 years. It's not even 18 years. Mom, you have that kid for life.
I enjoy George's take on serious topics because he's got this satire, this sarcasm, but he's also speaking some truth too. He's got a philosophical way of thinking, and I think he is a little bit radical. Some of his opinions are a little bit radical, but
I like it.
He has a way of communicating so effectively to the point where you agree with some of the things he says, even if you're not a radical person, because it's facts. We have to rely on logic, but we also have to learn when to shut the fuck up, because our opinions are our opinions only. They affect our lives only. Maybe some of our immediate people and our immediate surroundings, but otherwise, you don't know people on the internet. You don't know people across the world. You don't even know people in
your home. You can literally have a brother and he can be doing some crazy shit.
And you would never know. And you say, no, my brother would never. You don't know that.
You never know. And I think that's what we need to remember as people. I feel like abortion became a big thing the moment we started bringing it into politics, and I think that's the problem. This should be a family by family, a case by case, a doctor with patient type of thing. It should be personal. It should be, if you're going to have a baby, maybe you should have a doctor, a social worker, and the parent. So the social worker can explain the inner workings of having a child, what may come with it, and if the parent is ready for that. The doctor can explain what's going to happen to that person's body, and then the parents.
I think we need to leave certain things to qualified individuals to discuss.
Very much so. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell somebody what to do with their lives. I can't tell somebody what's this and what's that. But I can tell you that it's not my business to know what's going on in another person's household.
Mind your business.
Mind your business. Mm-hmm. And if we do that, and if we set our laws to a certain standard to where we know that this thing, yes, we feel a certain way about it. Okay, you may feel strongly about it. That's good for you. And somebody else may not feel as strongly about it. But in a situation of that, maybe we need to come together, find a solution, or take it the fuck out of government and leave it to smaller courts. So people in those smaller districts can vote for that. Let's not have it be a federal issue then. Cause I think that would probably be the best. Because if we make it a federal issue, it becomes this big ballot ticket and people have to be split on it. Leave it off of that.
Kari and Yabba take politics.
I don't know, y'all. I don't know.
Psych? No.
I'm telling y'all, I study politics. So y'all can tell me, say some whatever shit y'all want. Y'all will be surprised to know my credentials. I studied enough politics to know what's going on.
Somebody came out here and said we're social justice warriors all day. Yes,
I don't know what that is.
I believe that because I fight for social justice. When something is wrong, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to comment about it. And if I can do something about it, I will. So, yes, thank you for that.
I just say my opinion.
But at the end of the day, this is just a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We are just two people talking to a screen.
This is just our take and our generation's take. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. No one's telling you or no one's forcing you to listen to us.
Nope.
You gotta remember that. We're not forcing you to be here. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't like what we're saying, okay. Because we're not upset when you're saying stuff either. Mm-mm. You can say all the stuff that you want to say. You can say something that's completely opposite from our opinion. We're not going to argue with you, buddy. Yeah. You're not going to change my views. I'm not going to change your views. And I think when we get to that point, we will be better off. So stop trying to change mine because I don't give a fuck.
And stop trying to change our channel too, because we are how we are. And if we're going to ramble and post it, that's just what we're going to do. People come here to see that. 900 plus people come here to see that. So
conversations, and I hope that, you know, someone in the comments can sit there and talk to us about this really educationally. There's two sides. You know, we're talking about the sanctity of life. Like, I don't think we should talk about it at all because there's still a death penalty in America. So obviously we're not that sanctity. We don't give a fuck about that. We only give a fuck about that with certain people. So that's just how I see it. So I didn't even bring that up because there's no way that could be, there's no way that's something they could bring up because we still have a death penalty. So don't wait. Leave that shit to the curb. So I love you guys. And I just want y'all to know, like, we don't try to, like, do, like, a lot of these videos because I think they might get too controversial and people might be in the comments butthurt. But then we started realizing that we don't give a fuck.
And our opinions are our own. And we have a right to say that on our platform.
And we really love the people who are in the comments. And even the people who don't agree and are just, like, just saying exactly how they feel. We love that. We love that because
YouTube is a free space to say what the fuck you want to say. That's what YouTube is for,
you guys. Like, that's what it's for.
Yeah. We don't take it personal.
Don't take it personal. If
you're inappropriate, you're coming at us a certain way, we just brush it off because you don't know us and we certainly don't know you. So if you made it this far, thank you. We love you and we'll catch you next time. Bye.